Alright, good morning, afternoon, or evening, guys. Today I'm going to be talking about the commanders. What do I mean by commanders? I'm going to be talking about the unique commanders and which ones are those. So I'm going to go into the captain's logbook and I'm going to just show you all the unique captains we have in the game. We have 8 of them, as you may know. So we go into commanders here and then we click filter and then I'm going to show you the unique ones. And what do I mean by the unique ones? If you've seen the thumbnail, you should be able to see the pictures of them, but maybe you didn't realize who they were. So we have Yamamoto here, William F. Halsey Jr., Nikolay Kuznetsov, Gunther Lutjens, Andrew Cunningham, Philippe Auboyneau, Luigi Sansonetti, and Jerzy Swirski. This was a video you guys voted on the other day. 92% of you, over like 900 votes, voted that I should make this video. So here it is. So we're going to be talking about each commander and each unique commander, what they do, and how you can get them, right? So let's start off with Yamamoto Isoroku. Okay, maybe I've mispronounced his name, but there you go. This is him. All right, this is Yamamoto. And I'm also going to be telling you what ships I do use them on. As you can see from the bottom here, you can pretty much see what ships I'm using them on already. So we have Yamato for the Japanese, Des Moines for the Americans. For the Russians, we've got Stalingrad. For the Germans, we've got Hindenburg. For the British, I'm using it on Conqueror. On the French, Calabert. Napoli for the Italians, and Ragnar for the Pan-Europeans. But those aren't the only ships I use them on, because they are premiums. Well, you can move them onto premium ships for free. So I use Yamamoto on Yoshino, for example. But anyway, so Yamamoto, here we go. So what does he do, guys? So basically, Yamamoto gives you 2 passive buffs. By passive buffs, I mean normal skill improvements. So preventative maintenance gets buffed on Yamamoto, and also grease the gears gets buffed, and that's why I like putting it on Yamato, mostly for the grease the gears buff. But there are other buffs which happen in game. Active, I'm not sure. There's talents. These talents, right? These happen in game. These happen when certain things happen in the game, right? So for Yamamoto, you need to either get a Kraken Unleash, so that's 5 kills in one game. What happens when you do that? You get a super heal, as you can see by the first one. For 120 seconds, you get 0.4% of a heal for that entire time. Squadron preparation time, that's not important for what we're using. Reload time, 34% buff on Yamamoto here. For Yamato, for example, or Zhao, or Shima, you get a 34% buff on main battery reload time. And if you're using a ship with torpedoes, 16% torpedo reload time. But there you go. That's the first skill or talent you can probably proc. But the one you're most probably going to proc more is First Blood. Now, this one gives you an extra consumable over SI, and it gives you an extra consumable, extra heal, and an extra spotter plane. So, Emergency Repair Expert doesn't give you the extra spotter plane anymore, but you can get it with Emergency Reserve. But that's not really the important thing. The important thing is the heal. And for example, on Zhao, you get an extra Hydro, or on Shima, you get an extra Smoke, or on Harugumo, you get an extra TRB. That's what happens when you get First Blood. Now, what do you have here? This is your Broad Pennant. These are just visual changes, guys. There's nothing to worry about. These are just normal visual changes you can turn on or off. If you don't want people knowing you're running Yamamoto on your ship, just turn all of those off. And as you can see, no flag on your ship, no fireworks will proc off, and your shells won't be red, right? So if you want to be try-harding, you turn all of those off. But I like keeping them on because it's a nice visual. But that is Yamamoto, and I use him for the Yamato. But of course, you can use him for other ships also, such as Zhao or Shima, Next, we're going to be moving over to Des Moines. Actually, before we move over, I want to just check and make sure that I didn't miss anything on Yamamoto by clicking the I button here. And so battleships, those are the 2 buffs. For cruisers, it's still Expert Marksman. I just wanted to show you this as well. For destroyers, it's preventative maintenance, of course, and grease the gears as well. For submarines, it's preventative maintenance. And for aircraft carriers, you don't get an actual passive buff. Okay? So that's basically the Yamamoto. That's complete Yamamoto there. So let's talk about Des Moines. Well, not really Des Moines. Let's talk about William F. Halsey Jr. here. So, William F. Halsey Jr., he flies a blue pennant, as you can see right at the top of the Des Moines here. We're running a blue pennant. That's Halsey's pennant. Yamamoto's pennant. I don't think I showed it to you. Let me just show it to you really quick. I won't miss them from now on. It's a white pennant. There you go. But anyway, moving over to Halsey right now. So Halsey, he flies a blue pennant on Des Moines, as you can see. Well, on every other ship you put them on. You, of course, can turn them off, such as you did in the Yamato. You can click them like this. Just click them once, each one, and you can turn them on or off as you wish. Now, the passives here, we've got improved gun feeder. It goes from 50% to 75%, which is really nice for battleships and cruisers like this, right? It's really crazy, the 75%. Even Alaska would love to use it, you know, things like that. And you can straight up use this captain on Alaska if you wanted to, because the fact is, Alaska's a premium, just drag it on, you know? So, and another buff is the grease the gears as well. But, yeah, those are the two buffs for Halsey. And then the actual talents you get in-game. So the first one is Implacable. I used to mispronounce it and call it Implaceable. It's actually Implacable here. So we have squadron preparation time, not important for me, but of course for carriers maybe it's important. But main battery reload time, 20% buff. How do you get this 20% buff? As you can read from the text over there, the little I would say paragraph, but it's one sentence. The Confederate achievement, right? So you get Confederate by hitting 6 targets for X amount of damage, and basically you get a main battery reload buff on the Des Moines, 20%, and on destroyers you get that and the torpedo tube reload time, or if you're a carrier you're getting the 20% squadron. But there you go. That is the first one, Implacable. Second one you can get is Untraceable. So what does Untraceable do and how do you get it? You get it by getting a double strike achievement. How do you do that? You kill 2 targets in 10 seconds. So it's easier to do when you either split up your shots in a battleship, so front turrets kill something, back turrets kill another thing, or in cruisers like Des Moines, you can probably kill 2 things relatively easily if they're both low, or in destroyers, you can definitely double strike things with torpedoes or with guns if they're low. And there you go. So you get, what do you get the buff? Well, your squadron detection range is 10%, but it's really probably unlikely you get a double strike in a carrier. So let's focus on the ship's detection range plus, minus 10%, which means you're getting a buff by 10% on your concealment, which on the storage is quite a lot. On Des Moines could help you out as well. Worcester could help you out. You could stealth radar with Worcester. So there you go. That's another pretty good buff when you get a double strike. Of course, these aren't really too easy to proc. Both Yamamoto's and Des Moines aren't really easy to proc, but those are what you get. Obviously, you can use Halsey on any ship you want, but I personally choose to use him on the Des Moines because I feel like I can use him on Salem, Alaska, Puerto Rico, you know, the tier 8 premium cruisers, the heavy ones. I could use him on Ohio because I have. So because the thing is, let's click I again. Let's see. Because on battleships, for example, it gives you better expert loader and grease the gears. Destroyers, it gives you better. Well, grease the gears isn't really important for American destroyers or gun feeders, so don't worry about those. Submarines, it gives you nothing. Aircraft carriers, it gives you nothing. But keep in mind, you can throw him on Ohio, for example, or Kearsarge, things like that, and you can keep him on your Des Moines for free because those are premium ships. You can just drag them over for free. So there's William F. Halsey Jr. Let's move over to Nikolay Kuznetsov, I believe. This is the Russian one. Originally gave him a lot of controversy because people thought it was crazy. I mean, it is pretty good, especially for ranked. This captain is... One thing I forgot to mention, the passive skills. So these passive skills down here, the improvement, work in clan battles. These up here do not. Important, okay? It's important to note. Because you need achievements to proc those, and there's no achievements in clan battles. Now, so for the pennant, it's red, as you can see, Russian red, red and yellow, very nice, up there. You can, of course, turn it off and on as you wish. Now, Kuznetsov isn't actually fireworks, it's a flare. So you do get a flare instead of fireworks, which is quite interesting, but there you go. In terms of passive skills, we have consumable specialist, buffs your consumable specialist skill, which isn't really a skill I would normally take ever. Even on the destroyers, that's what it buffs. Battleships, that's what it buffs. Carriers, nothing. And submarines, nothing. But let's get into what you actually get, which are here, your talents. Now, let's start off with this one, Emergency Reserve. We talked about this on Yamato. You get 1 extra consumable when you get First Blood. It's the exact same. So, whenever you get First Blood in Stalingrad, with Kuznetsov on, you get an extra radar, extra heal, extra DFA. Or in Moskva, you get an extra hydro, for example. Or you know, Kremlin, you get an extra heal and an extra DCP. You just +1 on your consumables. It's just like Superintendent. The next one is Will to Victory. Now, this is the one that makes the ship really strong. Not just this one, but Kremlin especially, or Petro especially, in ranked, for example. As you can see, it says unavailable in clan battles or training battles. So no tour, like COTS, for example, you can't use these. Or clan battles, you can't use these. But specifically here, what does it do? When you go under, when you're like 10% HP left or under 10% HP left on your Stalingrad. So for Stalingrad here, it would be 7,200. If you go under that HP pool, you will proc this talent. What does it do? It gives you a small heal. It's not as big as your normal heal, but it's a heal. And most importantly, honestly, I feel like it's more important, it gives you a DCP on site. So how does that work? So, well, you go under the 10% threshold. You're on fire, for example. You're burning triple fire. You don't have a DCP available. Don't worry. Kuznetsov, boom. Flare comes up. You get a heal. And at the same time, you get a DCP. And you don't have to use a DCP. So, for example, for Kremlin, if it gets a First Blood and it has Emergency Repairs Expert, or the skill, let me just get the exact name because I forgot the names of these new skills. Emergency Repair Expert, there you go. I got it right, there you go. So if you have Emergency Repair Expert, this and this all proc, you have like 6 DCPs or 7 DCPs and 5 heals. I mean, that's a lot, right? So with this skill, it's really good. Plus, don't forget the dispersion towards you gets nerfed for the enemies. So buff towards you, but nerfed towards the enemies. So enemies have a 20% worse dispersion when shooting towards you, which means you're going to be hit less. It doesn't give you 20% better dispersion. It gives the enemy 20% worse dispersion, okay? So there you go. That is Kuznetsov. Let's move over to one of my personal favorites. I have to be honest, Gunther Lutjens, okay? Why do I like Gunther Lutjens as a captain? Well, this is his pennant up here, but that's of course not why I do like this captain, but there's a pennant on the Hindenburg up here, flying up. It's a black cross on a white flag. Let's open the captain skills up and talk about it. So you get a buff on your grease the gears, but that's not really the important thing. We're gonna click I and just show you here. There's some other stuff you can have, preventative maintenance buff also, and for battleships it's grease the gears and preventive maintenance. For carriers it's improved engine boost, and for submarines it's preventative maintenance. But let's talk about why I think this captain is probably my personal favorite. Obviously you can turn these off or on depending on what you like, and these aren't fireworks, they're also flares. So main battery loader. What does this do? You get 140 shell hits. So every time we talked about the rest, you basically, well, except Stalingrad for now, so except Kuznetsov, you have to proc achievements. Kraken, First Blood, Confederate Double Strike, First Blood, or you have to be super low HP. This one, super easy. All you have to do, no matter what ship you're playing, Z-52, Hindenburg, Mines, just hit 140 shells. It's super easy. You can do it in 5 minutes every game. It's super easy. And it gives you a 7.5% buff on your reload just for getting shell hits. It's super easy to proc, and honestly it makes Lutjens one of the best captains just exclusively based on that. So single-handedly. Then if you play Schlieffen, for example, if you land 100 secondary shells, you get a 15% reload buff on your secondaries. 15! For just landing shells. Like, yes. And then, for squads here, can be activated once per battle. Hit enemy ships 30 times with any aircraft armament. So that's for the CVs. So if you hit an enemy enemy 30 times with rockets, for example, or something, you get a 10% squadron preparation time buff. But there's another thing, for example, that's actually useful for me in Hindenburg, which is main battery loader. But the second thing is resilient. What does it do? Well, if each time you spot 3 ships, and sometimes you do get 3 spotting ribbons a game, you just get a heal. How big is the heal? It lasts, I believe, 10 seconds. 10 seconds? Yes, because it's the talent measured in seconds is equal to the ship's tier. So, for example, for Hindenburg, it's going to last 10 seconds. And it's 300 HP per tier. So, we get a 3000 HP heal, and that's if it's healable. But if you spot, for example, 2 ships, 3 ships... Sorry, if you spot 3 ships, you get 3000. If you spot 6 ships, it adds on. So, you can get 6000. You can get 9000. You can get 12,000 if you're, you know... You're a Z52 and you're just spotting things like crazy. I don't know, somehow. But there you go. That's Lutjens. And I personally think he's one of my favorite commanders. But let's move over to the Conqueror. I will explain how to unlock these at the end of the video. And I'll mention the shell colors. Actually, I'm just going to mention the shell colors before we go to Andrew Cunningham. So the shell colors for Yamato is red. Des Moines, it's red. For Stalingrad, it's red. For Hindenburg, it's red. For Conqueror, it's light blue. For Kleber, it's dark blue. For the Italians, I believe it's red. And for Ragnar, it's light blue. I don't think it's green for the Italians. I think it's red. But there you go. I'll talk about how to earn them at the end of the video. But Andrew Cunningham. So his passive buffs, let's just take a look. For submarines, nothing. Destroyers, we have consumable specialist buff. Cruisers, consumable specialist. Battleships, consumable specialist. For carriers, we have aircraft armor. So you can of course turn these off and on again. Really important. I mean, really important if you really want to try hard. I'd like keeping them on. Dependent for this one, he actually has a Union Jack as a big flag here. It's, you know, gigantic. And I do love it when you put it on anything. It does look really nice, the Union Jack. And here it is. There you go. So for our talents, now this is what makes this Conqueror build, by the way, crazy. Okay, so what this Conqueror build, furious, improved repair readiness. So it's just a very give me fires to me so I can get a reload buff. So how does Conqueror make use of this? Ruthless. What do you need for Ruthless? Witherer achievement. Now Witherer is pretty easy to get in Conqueror. So all you need is 60k fire damage. Really easy to get, guys. And you get a straight 10% reload buff on your guns. And if you're playing Daring and you get a Witherer, torpedo tube reload time. Or playing Goliath, you get main battery and torpedo tube reload time. Or if you get it in Audacious, you get squadron preparation time. But this is wonderful for Conqueror. And yes, it's a very easy skill to proc, especially in some of these ships, for the British ships. And it's really good. Lightning fast, what's this one? So this can be activated once per battle. Okay. All you have to do is get 2 floods. Okay. Malta, you're playing Conqueror. This is really dumb. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to proc this in Conqueror. But you can do it in Plymouth. You can do it in Minotaur. You can do it in Goliath. You can do it in Daring. And you get, basically, you get 5% ship speed buff, right? Or if you do it in Carrier, you get a 5 ship buff, I believe. So your Audacious goes 5% faster and your squadron speed is 5% faster. But this is really good, for example, for Daring or Minotaur, right? You get 5% speed, which is really nice. And the last one, which is honestly really wonderful for Conqueror, Daring, Minotaur, everything. This one is wonderful. Except carriers, I guess. Maybe they get an extra fighter squad, but you get an extra consumable. Not for getting first blood in this one. This one is even easier to get. All you have to do is get 2 kills. 2 kills with any of these British ships. You get it in Druid. See, I use Cunningham on Druid because I can move him for free, right? So I use the Cunningham. You get an extra heal, an extra hydro, an extra smoke per game. Because you get 2 kills. I mean, it's really good. And on Conqueror, you get an extra big heal. So it's good. But that's Cunningham for you. I think Cunningham is also one of my personal favorites. Lutjens and Cunningham are personally some of my favorites in terms of captains. But let's move over to the last remaining three, which is Auboyneau, Luigi Sansonetti, and Jerzy Swirski. So we have Philippe Auboyneau. Here's his pennant here, up here, his triangle, little triangle. Philippe Auboyneau, French captain, commander, ship commander. So here we have, now this is really good for French destroyers, especially if you want to be playing comp. You get 400 extra HP, which isn't a lot, but it's HP, guys. It's free HP, you take it. It's like Ovechkin, but it's actually a special captain. You take this free SE. It also buffs cruiser SE, as you can see. So 500 on cruisers, nothing on battleships. You get improved SE on carriers, and you get nothing on submarines. But that's the passive for Philippe Auboyneau, which is the HP, which is really nice. Most importantly, of course, as you know, you can turn these off or on. Okay. And this is also a flare. Actually, I forgot to talk about Cunningham. What does he have? He has a flare too. They started off with fireworks and moved towards flares, it seems. But let's talk about these three. Now, this is important for Kleber. Rampant. How do you get rampant? So each time you get a dev strike, you get a 5% reload buff on guns and on torps. For Kleber, you're gonna have to use torps on it probably, or you have to dev strike out a super light cruiser or something, or torp out a destroyer. Really and truly, it's possible, but it's a bit hard in this one. I'm sure it's easier in Henry, in Republic, Bourgogne, you know, them types, Alsace, you know, them types. So Champagne, you get these 5% reload buffs. But I have done it in Kleber, and it is a wonderful experience because you get an even faster reload on Kleber, which is really nice. Next one is, this one's really easy to get. This one's super easy to get. You get it every game. And let me explain why this one is one of the strongest for Kleber. You get 1% fire chance for every cap you get. I've had a game where I had 5 caps in Kleber. What does that mean? Pyrotechnician, okay? Sorry, demolition expert. A 2-point skill on Kleber. Now we're gonna have to do some maths. Gives you 1% fire chance, which is the same as this one. So for every capture point you get, that's why I don't take demo. For every capture point you get a free demolition expert. So if you get 5 caps, you get 5 demolition experts. Right? Because it stacks. That means your Kleber will go from having a 10.5 to a 15.5% fire chance, right? So it's incredible. You can do it on Marceau too. It's really fun. And basically it's like cheating the system because, you know, we have a 21-point captain here, but at the same time we have 5% extra fire chance, and that's 5 times 2. So that's actually a 31-point captain. So it's a 31-point captain, right? If you keep doing it, it's basically a 31-point captain. But anyway, let's move over to Surge Forward. This is also relatively easy to get, not in Kleber, but maybe in Henry, in Republic, Bourgogne. Yeah, I've done it in Kleber before. I've done it in Kleber when I had full HP. Like, I've had 2 million potential where I had full HP. You get an 8% buff on speed the entire game. Speed boost on, speed boost off. It doesn't matter. You get a straight 8% buff on your speed. You can go around 60 knots with this. So, and you can go like 47 with Henry, or 40 like with Bourgogne. You're probably gonna hit 45 if you take Brisk, you know. So there you go. This one is also really good and easy to get. Again, these are not achievement based, which is really nice, except for Devastating Strike, obviously. But these are really easy to get, and that's why I also like Auboyneau, and that's why I keep him on my Kleber. Sorry, next one is Luigi Sansonetti. His broad pennant is up here. It's a flag 3 stars. If someone can explain in the comments what the 3 stars mean. Sorry, it's actually not 3 stars. It's 2 stars and a crown. It probably has to do something with the Italian Navy. If someone in chat or in the description, in the comments would like to explain to me what that means, I would really appreciate it, because I do love reading the comments and learning about things. So there you go. So Luigi Sansonetti here, as you can see, he's got some buffs, guys. He's got some buffs, and they're quite interesting. And some of them, I feel, are pretty vital to make some Italian ships work well. So what do we have here? So this is really important, okay? Now, not just for cruisers, but for battleships, this is incredibly important. For Venezia, we're talking Colombo, Napoli. It's really important. Gun feeder 75%, because the reloads are so slow on the Italians that 75% helps them out significantly when they want to switch ammo type really quickly. For example, Colombo, you have SAP, but you can punish a cruiser broadside with Citadels, guaranteed. You switch and you have 75%, right? Or for example, for cruisers, 7% torp speed. It's mostly for destroyers that I use it on Paolo Emilio, for example, 7% torp speed. So currently, Sansonetti is on my Colombo, Napoli, and Paolo Emilio. So that's the builds I have for each here. And for aircraft carriers, he buffs 7% torp speed. That means we're going to get Italian carriers Kappa sometime soon. Gun feeder 75% for battleships. Gun feeder and swift fish for cruisers. Destroyers, you get gun feeder and swift fish. We know where there's Italian destroyers looming by. They're coming in. But there you go. So that is Luigi Sansonetti's passive buffs. Of course, you can turn these off and on. You get a flare on this one as well. So what are the talents? We have 3. Rapid fire. These are really easy to get also, guys. These are incredibly easy to get. Rapid fire. What do you do? Well, this one's not as easy. This is the only, like, kind of hard one. This one, you need a Confederate for. So it's like American's reload buff. This one's 15%. So you get a 15% buff with Confederate, which is quite good for Italian ships. It helps you out quite a fair amount. But this one is what we're looking at. Because Italian ships don't come with a lot of gun range stock. I do have range mod on my Napoli. And for far reach, so this one gives you an 8% buff on gun range. And what you need to do to get this one is you need to get a kill. So you need to get a kill. So just 1 kill, guys. 1 kill in any Italian ship will give you 8% range. I mean, that's really easy to get. And it gives you 8% range forever. That's really good. For that game, obviously. That's really good. It can't get double stacked, so 2 kills don't give 16%, but it's pretty much just 8% for 1. Concealed reserves. Well, this one you get 100 shell hits, and your action time on consumables gets buffed, so you get a bigger heal, you get a longer DCP, which is like for Colombo, for Venezia, for Napoli. Longer smoke screens, really nice for all the Italians, obviously, longer smoke screens. But there you go. That is Luigi Sansonetti for the Napoli. And for those of you who are asking, I'm running range mod and secondaries. I do have a Napoli review where I talk about that and why I do that. Sorry, let me drink really. So for the last captain of the day, well, of right now for unique commanders, these are the 8 we have. We've got Jerzy Swirski. Now, what is his broad pennant? It's a Polish flag, I believe. I believe it's Polish, right? Probably. But let's talk about Jerzy Swirski. I keep him on my Ragnar, but personally, I would keep him on Smaland if I were you. So what are his buffs? Adrenaline Rush is his buff. He gets a better Adrenaline Rush. For submarines, nothing. Destroyers, Adrenaline Rush. Cruisers, Adrenaline Rush. Battleships, Adrenaline Rush. That's pretty much it. No carriers. Maybe there's no aircraft carriers planned for EU Kappa. We'll see. But there you go. Now, you can of course turn these off and on again. There's another flare. They kind of switched from fireworks to flares. I'm not sure why, but there you go. Maybe they lag less or something. But anyway, so Torpedo Armament Expert. This is completely useless for me on my Ragnar. This is good for Holland or Smaland. Keep them on the... honestly, I prefer if you guys keep it on that. Or, sorry, I prefer, you know, if I were to keep it on that. But this is what I'm using it. And I'm using it based solely on the Adrenaline Rush. That's all. But it's better on Smaland than Holland. And for the other one, it's AA Gun Expert. So that means when you shoot down 20 hostile planes, so enemy planes, obviously, you get a 10% buff on continuous AA. Which, again, isn't too crazy. But Ragnar's AA is actually pretty good. So getting that buff is really nice. And having it on Holland's really nice. So Jerzy Swirski, for me, is definitely a Holland-oriented captain, but I use it on Ragnar, and I would definitely use it on Smaland if possible. But there you go. Those are the 8 unique commanders in the game. And now let's talk briefly about how to get them. So in terms of Yamamoto and the William J. Halsey Jr. or William Halsey Jr., Yamamoto, you open up campaigns. So let's go back to port. Let's do this step by step. Campaigns, okay? On the left-hand side. Yamamoto Isoroku, okay? At the end, when you complete everything, you get Yamamoto. When you're doing this, don't forget, you can repeat missions. So if this mission gives you 5 points and you found it super easy, you can redo it and it'll give you stars. It won't give you the extra rewards, like another million credits, but it gives you the stars. So if you find a mission really easy, just do that mission over and over again. Because that's how you're going to speed through these missions and get Yamamoto, a 15-point captain and some extra stuff. But most importantly, it's a 15-point Yamamoto captain. For Halsey, we're going to scroll to the right here, move to the right. This is called hit hard, hit fast, hit often for the Americans. Here we have William F. Halsey Jr. It's not William J, it's William F. Halsey Jr. There you go. You get some extra stuff, obviously, but 15-point William F. Halsey Jr. That's what you want. And of course, like I said before, you can redo missions, right? So if you find the mission easy, just redo it. It'll speed time so much. Don't try to force yourself to do the harder missions at the start. Just get the captain. That's what you want, right? So just, you know, just go pass straight through it. That's what I did. Anyway, so those are how you get Yamamoto and Jerzy Swirski. Sorry, Yamamoto and William F. Halsey Jr. Let's go to the armory, because this is where you get 5 more captains or 5 more commanders, and that will make a total of 7. So let's go down here. So we're looking at, so we're going to go to featured first. Let's go down to commanders. It's ships and then commanders. It's really easy to find. And then go on the right and click unique. Okay, you're not going to see it like this if you don't own them. You're going to see them as buyable, right? With coal. Now, let's see if you can actually use a coupon on commanders. Look, I'm not sure. Possibly. I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's say you have to buy them full price. So here's Jerzy Swirski, 175,000 coal. Here's Andrew Cunningham, 175,000 coal. Philippe Auboyneau, 175,000 coal. Gunther Lutjens, 175,000 coal. And Nikolay Kuznetsov, 175,000 coal. This is where you buy each one. I'll tell you my recommendations at the end, obviously. But I don't believe the last one, which is Luigi Sansonetti, is it gettable? I'm going to check one thing here. I don't think he is, but I will check for you. We're gonna go to collections, okay? And we're going to find an Italian looking one. So we're going to go into collections and we're going to look for resolute and rapid, okay? And this one is how you get Sansonetti. How do we get the resolute and rapid containers? Well, to do that, you're going to have to go into the armory, okay? So to get Sansonetti, you're going to have to unlock the entire collection. To do that, you have to go into the armory, click containers, okay? Click this one, resolute and rapid. And I'm going to buy one just to show you guys. You're going to purchase it with coal, 6,000 coal. It's really expensive, but if you want Sansonetti, this is kind of what you have to do. And you open the container here. And you're going to get these, which are the resolute and rapid collection items. That's what you get. You also get some camos, obviously, but that's how you get Sansonetti. That's the only way to get Sansonetti, so there you go. And don't forget, you can use duplicates. I believe, I'm not sure, I think it's like 4 duplicates to actually unlock it, but there you go. So that is every commander discussed, unique commander discussed. It took me 36 minutes. I really apologize. Or actually, it's a bit less, but I really apologize for taking so long. There you go. I think we talked about each one thoroughly. We actually talked about how to obtain them and everything, and what ships I run them on here. And I'm going to tell you which ones are my personal favorite. Philippe Auboyneau, Lutjens, Cunningham. Definitely for the skills, for the actual talents. Those are for the talents. I love them. They're really easy to accomplish, and they're really good. For the passives, I do have to say William F. Halsey Jr. Really good for the passive. I do like the Stalingrad when you get low HP. It's nice. AR is nice also, but I'm telling you, 75% is really nice. The Italian one, Luigi Sansonetti, also is really nice to have with a 75%. Honestly, they're all really good to have. So if you can obtain them, such as through campaigns, it's really easy to get them. I will get them. In terms of coal captains, people ask me all the time, should I get a coal captain or should I get a ship? It's really up to you guys. I can't be the one to decide for you. Personally, I would always get ships first, but if you really want to buff your ship experience, like a certain ship, and you know which one, I've talked about each captain skill and you think you can do it every game, or you can min-max it and do it a lot, sure, go ahead and get a captain. But, like I said, between coal captains and coal ships, for me, it's definitely coal ships, right? But that's me. There you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. This was a full rundown of each unique commander here in the game. So far we have 8. They're all in the thumbnail. I believe I fit them all into the thumbnail. But there you go. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you didn't, please let me know why in the description, or sorry, in the comments. And of course, guys, if you want builds for all these ships that I showed you today, they're available on Discord for free. Okay, for free. And here are the famous people that helped us make this video here. So let's thank, of course, Yamamoto, William F. Halsey, Nikolay Kuznetsov, Gunther Lutjens, Andrew Cunningham, Philippe Auboyneau, Luigi Sansonetti, and Jerzy Swirski. There you go. So those are the 8 commanders for the 8 nations that are allowed to run them in the game right now. And there you go. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. And do let me know which ones you have or do not have, or which ones you do want, which you don't have. Thank you so much, guys. Like I said, if you enjoyed the video, please do consider leaving a comment, like, and a sub. I really would appreciate it. Or join the Discord or follow the Twitch. Everything I would really appreciate, guys. But thank you so much. And see you tomorrow for another video. Big fan.